Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. It is time to turn the light on. And June 24th, it's Thursday, 5:40 a.m. here in the Arizona desert where it's still raining since yesterday, and that's kind of cool because the Hoover Dam looks like it's holding back a puddle. Anyhow, as we all know, John McAfee, a true character, died, and or well, how long before we start seeing bumper stickers saying McAfee didn't kill himself? I think there's a good business opportunity for you. Be the first one to get those out, make some money. I love this tweet from a pirate chain. Love him or hate him, he was a modern day pirate. It's kind of true. He also was a modern day egomaniac, but the world needs those. And I was lucky enough back in April of 2020 to do a short interview with him, just 37 minutes. And I think this was actually powerful. Got past the gruffness, and I think he really opened up a bit and talked about, the sweetness of life. And so I think this interview myself is unique, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to talk to him, to interview him. Now I feel like this is quite a bit of important history. All right. I think this is the end of the presidency for Joe Biden. What I mean by that is, I think this statement will haunt him, and I think this is going to sort of neuter him, and I don't think he'll ever really recover from this statement, where he talks about you'll need F-15s and nuclear weapons to take on the government. Why would you even say such a thing? I know he's senile, he's not really there, but still, that's awful. And what this did was it made a lot of people think, what in the crap are you saying these things for? That's just, it's unnecessary. It must be a fantasy, if you ask me. And I like Peter McCormick here. He said, what happened in Vietnam then? Yeah. And also Willie Woo, we all know who he is, said one of the most powerful statements of 2021 so far. The Second Amendment really means to include the right to bear Bitcoin. Tyrannical governments are much more vulnerable to economic attack. Powerful, powerful, true statement. Anyway, I think beyond the aspect of political bias, I think it just comes down to moral bias. I think he blew it, and I think he outraged the country by saying this, and I don't think his presidency will ever really recover. I think this is the beginning of the end for this dude. Anyway, Burry, we all know this guy, Michael Burry. He says trapped bulls often fall for the latest support. He's still bearish on Bitcoin. I'm actually beginning to become slightly bullish at this moment. But I think it's good just to take these things into account. He's a respected guy. He's made a lot of money. I trust people who are successful. Like if I'm ever going to, like so many people have financial planners that they go to who aren't wealthy. Like, what kind of crap is that? If I'm going to have a financial planner, they're going to be wealthy. Also, if I'm going to listen to somebody's take on the market, they're going to be wealthy and successful. This guy definitely is. Just, I am getting enthusiastic, but I like being, as a trader, your profit is based on your ability to see truth and not delusion. So let's all stay seeking the truth. Bitcoin truth seekers, and we'll rock through all this, and we will keep going, not belabor all that silly news. And why I mentioned the whole Biden thing, really, it's not about political bias. It's just about market instability that could cause. If you watch the Schumann resonance, I should have pulled that up earlier. It's been off the charts kind of since that statement, which oftentimes reflects, from an eclectic point of view, the global emotional state. I think that upset humanity at a core level much more than people may realize on the surface. All right. Looking at spot exchange volume. Okay, for Binance, the only exchange that matters, down 42% last 24 hours. I bet it's pumping right now a little bit, but still, we are still losing volume. So be careful about buying this dip. Range last 24 hours has been 32,345 to 34,761. Not bad. That daily range has been steadily increasing. Nice to see. Let's look at the bubbles. All right, a mix of green and red this morning. Doge up 6%. Clay, whatever that is, up 29%. TRX up 17%. ADA, everyone loves Cardano, up 8%. So some alts doing quite well. XRP up 1.3%. So nice to see. Crow token, if you use the crypto.com card, up 5.7%. That's always very nice. That's where people get their little cashback rewards in from who use the crypto.com card. Everyone likes Crow. I do, at least. All right. So, looking at Coin 360, mix of green and red in the market. Doge up, XRP up, ADA up, TRX up. Everything we already kind of mentioned in from the bubbles is reflected here. Hash rate. This is looking at kind of a wide angle here. This is a 3-month chart. But as you can see, we're steadily declining. I want to get a tighter price, a tighter time frame on hash rate. I just don't really know where to find it, so I'm kind of looking at this one. But overall, you can see no sudden spike in hash rate, probably due to the miners in China moving. All right. 5.3 billion in volume last 24 hours. That is not much, especially with this morning's pump, which we'll take a look at. Binance has 3.4 billion of that. Nobody else showed up for work to be over a billion. All right, longs versus shorts on Binance, where all that glorious volume is. 59% long, 40% shorts. That's not much of a spread for of a variance. I'm going to call that indecisive as far as longs versus shorts, the sentiment on Binance. Then for Ethereum, 59% long, 40% shorts. I'm going to call that indecisive. All right, how many gold coins can you get for a Bitcoin this morning? 19.05. Gold and silver. Gold still kind of sideways, but a green candle today. Silver, nice green candle today. Nice to see these guys making a bit of a recovery, or at least some sideways with a slight uptick last couple days after a serious dump while the DXY was pumping. All right, let's look at the SPX up top here. Red candle today. Russell 2000 green candle, and Dow is a red candle also. As you can see, they're mostly, the S&P and the Russell 2000 are, steadily increasing or massively increasing. It's nice to see them both over the 21 EMA, and of course they're above the 200 moving average. The Dow is above the 200 moving average, but it has fallen below the 21 EMA, which has some people concerned, but it's getting an uptick too. So these are daily charts. We follow the daily chart on those. DXY, it's come down to the 200 moving average here on the daily chart. Let's see if we get a bounce or if it drops below. Looking at it is the TNX, the 10-year Treasury yield. As you can see, we're steadily declining recently, the last couple of days or weeks, really. Today, an indecisive doji. We shall see. It's below the 21 EMA, but above the 200 moving average. So in general, downtrending, not crashing too hard, but it's not making waves either. Indecisive chart, if you ask me. Okay, looking at longs versus shorts. These are all 4-hour charts. So you got Bitcoin up top here, you got shorts in the middle, and you got longs at the bottom. Nice to see with the slight price action we see this morning, or nice price action for Bitcoin. We're not seeing shorts crank, which is what they have done recently over the last 30 some days. You get some volume coming in from retail investors. You get some upwards price movement, maybe an error on the whale's parts, and the shorts just go like a rocket ship to Pluto and smack that thing down. Another view here, as you can see. So it's a little bit convoluted here, but basically you've got this here is the price action for Bitcoin. Okay, you can see price action for Bitcoin, and this is something I noticed. This is an hourly chart. Okay, the white kind of line here, that is the shorts, and of course then you have your Bitcoin price action. Then of course you got your longs. This light. I should just remove this here because it's not really. I think it's just making the thing too busy. Let's just look at it like this, from this perspective here. When shorts, this is just kind of non-scientific, but just check it out. When shorts are below the price action, it's upwards. When they're above the price action, it's usually downwards. And so if you look, while the shorts have been above the Bitcoin price action, it's been cruising down. Right now, we are below the price action. Bitcoin's moving up. And as we get this upwards movement, just watch for the shorts. If they start piling up, you can pretty much guess what's going to happen. But right now, we're not seeing that happen. You can look right here recently where the shorts cranked up, Bitcoin price action went down. So watch these shorts. It's nice looking at the charts here, the longs and the shorts, because really, like I say here in the 4-hour chart, I would expect to see with some positive price action the shorts crank up, and they're not. So it looks like maybe the whales are letting Bitcoin move upwards. I'm starting to get feel a little bit positive even if little Michael Burry is not. All right, with that said, it does look like on the daily chart we got a 314 moving average bounce. That's nice. We're right now challenging the .5 fib line, which is at 34,272. I've gone basically. I started this fib back on around March 14th. We had a bit of a dump. We've been uptrending since then. The all-time high. This is how I draw the fib. It works for me. We're still well below the 200 moving average. We're still below the 21 EMA on the daily. Not a super powerful chart, but we're still kind of sideways here, and we are seeing resistance at the .5 fib line. But it does look like we're seeing a 314 moving average bounce. I like seeing that. Watch this very closely. I have an alert set in TradingView for this. I'm watching for this daily MACD to cross positive, and I think we'll definitely see a move up when that happens. Not financial advice, just entertainment purposes only, but that's what I'm expecting. So myself, just saying what I'm doing is when we look, if the charts overall look good on the 45-minute and 4-hour time frames. I'll be watching things closely, but I'll actually be hedging back in a bit right before this cross. Could be a fake out, so got to be careful. But if the charts in general look strong on that daily cross, as we get closer and closer to that, I will be hedging in a bit more. Like I say, when you have a daily positive cross in the MACD, always tends to be positive price action. There's upwards pressure. When you have a negative cross in the MACD on the daily, it's usually downwards pressure. So take that for what it's worth. We're still in a kind of a tight squeeze right here, but getting above that .5 fib line, getting above 34,000 and staying there, like 34, 35, 37,000, especially getting above this 21 EMA at around 36,000, 37,000. We're going to be looking good. And then, of course, challenging the 200 moving average on the daily will be quite a wonderful thing. And don't be surprised if this 200 moving average cross towards the positive, if that happens, doesn't push Bitcoin above that. I mean, really, for Bitcoin, it's not impossible to see. That would be like 30% would really get us back in, Lambo land, upwards mobility, nothing holding us back, blue skies ahead, wonderful. So that definitely could happen. I'm definitely watching very, very closely because while Bitcoin has been doing this sideways price action, this range between like 30 and 40K for like 36 days now, the whales, the big institutions have been buying and buying and buying. And when this does take off, I'm going to be ready because I do believe that we will see a liquidity crisis after this next, I believe that we will both see a massive price action, 10, 20K days. Seriously, we'll see a massive push, especially because there will be a liquidity crisis because while this is moving sideways, the big money has been buying. And that's something that I think. And then also in a recent webinar over at Blockchain Education, one of the guys who runs the show over there, Jonathan Regan, an insanely knowledgeable human being, basically said the same thing. So be watchful. When Bitcoin gets healthy or when you decide that you're going to buy the dip or whatever, if you have some, I'll be honest with you, I have some buy orders in at 31,000, 30,500 and 30,000 I have some buy orders. And just because we might visit the bottom of this range again, but I'm starting to think that's getting less and less likely. But that's not all back in. That's just hedging back in some in case we get that low because we could just plummet right past it. Be wary. Be careful. Remember, this is a tough time. It tests our souls. It's not easy. But like Michael Burry, definitely a knowledgeable and a patient man, he's telling people trap bulls often fall for the latest support. Be watchful, be wary, trade safe. We are in shark-infested, actually killer whale-infested waters right now, and many of us are bleeding, which doesn't help. So, with that said, daily chart, we've looked at that. Let's look at immediate price action, a 45-minute chart. This morning is an exciting time. It really is. Something that gets me excited is, look at this. We had 200 moving average challenge here. We had 200 moving challenge here. Will we make it above the 200 moving average today? Honestly, I don't think so. I think we'll probably get resistance there and get smacked down, but that's fine. Really, everything in the world it's all speculation. I just want to mention because I think this is something I've been watching for years now. Is exactly this pattern I've seen play out a lot, and here's the 200 moving average. it really tends to need to be uptrending. And once that begins to uptrend, then I think that's when you're going to see Bitcoin do something like this. Sorry, things are moving a little slow here. That's when you're going to see Bitcoin start to, keep getting those rejections. But once that 200 moving average starts to trend up, that's when you'll see the breakthrough. I know that's kind of speculation. That's not exactly, technical analysis, but it's just something that I've seen, over and over again. Watching the 200 moving average like this, it tends to be, something that is very common. That we see is exactly that. When the 200 moving average is trending down on the 45-minute chart, you often will get rejections. By the price action when it reaches it, unless it does, a Lambo pump, boom, right through it, and that certainly can happen. But with the volume that we're seeing here in the charts, volume, where you at volume? Yeah, let me actually refresh this. But with this flaccid, volume, and then also looking at the where's my spot stuff? Where's that one? Here we go. Yeah, I'll even refresh this again. Looking at all spot volume on Binance, down 40%. There's just not a lot of volume, and I think we really need some retail volume, or it could be whale volume, to blast through this 200 moving average. So if the whales truly are letting Bitcoin go, they're kind of releasing it from this range right here where they've been accumulating like crazy. Just watch this 200 moving average on the 45-minute chart to begin the trend up, and once it does, that's when I think we'll see a breakthrough. This is just my take it for what it's worth, but also do note that even with that, on the 4-hour chart, which I think more conservative traders are looking at, or at least some that I know, really who want to make sure they get in when the uptrend is confirmed, because they're more concerned with losing money than making money. They want to protect their wealth. Do note that we still have to get above this 200 moving average. That's about a 7% move, and getting above that 200 moving average and finding support on it, you're looking at about a $37,000 Bitcoin right there. So that tends to be kind of my safe place, is right about there, above the 200 moving average on the 4-hour chart. We'll probably test it, reject, and then get above it, find support, and start moving up. So with that said, I'm kind of waiting for that 37K magic number to really hedge all my hedged out back in. Looks like we are heading in that direction. It's all about have the whales release Bitcoin from this range. We're going to find out. Today is definitely a fun day, because we're going to see here on the 45-minute chart, can we get above that glass ceiling? If we can, great. Doesn't look like we're going to, though. But like I already mentioned, sorry to belabor the point, let's watch this 200 moving average to begin an uptrend. And when it does, that's when Bitcoin will probably go through it. Just be watchful. There you go. All right. Now, and actually, in the Bitcoin Trading View Telegram group, Biffy, one of the guys there, very smart character, he actually went back and looked historically the last couple of years at ranges, and being stuck in a range like this has happened a few times, and about between like 30 and 60 some days. So right now we're at 36 days. So we have suffered ranges like this before while institutions were stocking up. And like I said, won't belabor it. When it starts moving, have your plan if you're going to be in Bitcoin. Also the same as with alts, but kind of looking specifically at Bitcoin. When it starts moving up, I think liquidity is going to be just crap. And if you want to get in, have your plan and get back in, or continue hedging in, or whatever you're doing. Just watch for the. I do think we're going to see those insane highs of like 100K, etc. by the end of this year, and it's going to be driven by basically a lack of liquidity, because in this range, they've been buying, and they have to release those things in reports. I forget what it is, but you can look at the big funds. What is that, like BitcoinTreasury.net or something like that? You can see the buys that big institutions are buying. I mean, they're buying big time, so they ain't worried about Bitcoin going to zero or dropping further. In my opinion, I think they know very well, because they're the ones manipulating it, that it's going to stay exactly in this range until they release it. Doge versus USDT on the 45-minute chart. Very, very exciting chart. DI is positive. ADX is right there at 23 and that's a good spot. I like to get in around 22, 23. If I want to be aggressive, if I want to be super careful, I wait till about 25. But anyway, we're kind of in the buy zone for the ADX there. The squeeze oscillator here is looking really wonderful. We're going to see it firing off little white golf balls there pretty soon. If this continues up, KRI is looking good. Stochastic RSI is still in a buy zone. Lazy Bear indicator does not show overbought yet. This is a good day. We're in this upwards channel. It's beautiful. Doge USDT. We're about to challenge that 200 moving average. Will we get the smackdown off of that or not? I kind of guess we will. But I tell you what, I think when Bitcoin makes it through, when it fires up that, righteous green candle and just rocks through like the 314, the 200 moving average comes down, finds support and starts moving, stand by. And I also would say, like, for so many alts are right in the same position at Doges right now. They're going to do what Bitcoin does. But when Bitcoin does what it does, who's going to be the one making the greater gains percentage-wise? So, like I say, right now, everybody, I guess maybe the message of all this ranting that I'm doing is make ready your game plan for the pump. Because eventually it will be here, and it usually happens before you know it, when you least expect it. When you're, like fixing your mother-in-law's chicken coop or something like that, you ain't got your phone for a couple hours because you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's no reception. You come back and you go, I'm wrecked because I didn't get in. Have a plan. Be ready to react quickly when the market turns up. Ship or when it dumps, when it starts ranging between like 30 and 20K, have a plan. It's important right now. SHIB versus Tether. You got a lot of alts doing this. What Doge is doing, looking positive, kind of doing basically exactly what Bitcoin is doing. Doge has slightly better indicators than Bitcoin does right now. You also have a lot like SHIB that are basically, they're kind of waiting too. SHIB's a great little coin. You can see a slight uptrend that it's been in, but not really. It's kind of more sideways than anything else at this very moment. But it's not far from that 200 moving average, and it could easily pump right through it. So be watchful. Also, like I mentioned yesterday or something, SHIB swap is going to be out this summer, it does look like. So many people are accumulating bags of SHIB because they expect it to go crazy, and it still is like, it's fractions of a penny. So it's a penny stock. A lot of people are betting on hard. Not financial advice, just saying, $100 could make you a lot of money. With a bag of SHIB in the future. XRP versus USDT. It looks a lot like SHIB coin, doesn't it? You either go on the Dogecoin path, a bit more aggressive, following Bitcoin's every move, or you're going like the SHIB and XRP path, kind of sideways, but slowly approaching that 200 moving average. XRP's indicators do not look that bad, but not as good as Doge's, that's for sure. With all that said, sorry this was kind of long. Ranting, and I'm not picking on Biden. I want to mention that article. I just want to mention this because I think that this, like I say, it's not about political bias. It's just about political uncertainty right now, and the world is uncertain. We have maybe lockdowns again. Looks like in Europe, Ireland's talking about possible lockdowns. You've got, I could go on and on. I could do a whole 7-hour friggin' video on just doom, right? But this I see as both a little doomy but positive, because this will be a moment, I think, that will be historic, his little one-liner there, because I think it changed the heart of this country, and I think people are looking at not only our administration, but all the doomy stuff in the world a little bit different. I know I'm kind of belaboring it, but I think the world changed, and for the better. And I think the peaceful revolution, the Bitcoin peaceful revolution, just became more real than it's ever been. Willy Woo, an amazing character, like he said, the Second Amendment really means to include the right to bear Bitcoin. Tyrannical governments are much more vulnerable to economic attack. I'm not even talking about attacking anybody, because that never works. But Bitcoin is the peaceful revolution. You can't stop an idea that has come. This statement actually made me more hopeful than I've been probably in the last 16 or 18 months. No shit. Mark my words, it's why I'm belaboring it. This changed the world for the better. And with that said, remember, everybody, especially with the recent comments from the administration and all that Klaus Schwab bullshit that you'll own nothing and like it, for every Bitcoin Satoshi you own, a piece of shit banker, and just in general, evil person cries. And that's beautiful. I love the sound of their tears. I can hear them. It sounds like the twinkling of the morning stars and rain in the desert. It's a beautiful sound. Oh, we'll leave it at that.